Thank you for listening to Pow Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your, how should I put this? Yes, the Megami Man Tensei of Maestro for you guys, Mr. Eddie V. Then like to excited one. Joining me is the digital devil deluxe himself, Mr. Dan Murphy,
How's it going, you guys?
and our special guest, the positive and professional persona himself, Mr. Grayson Morales.
What's up, Ed?
Hello, you guys are trying to figure out why I changed up the things. It's because we're going to be talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5 and those games, Digital Devil, Saga, Persona, and Shin Megami Tensei are all part of the Megami Tensei series, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later in the show. But how was everybody's weekend? Grayson, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. I didn't get too much chilling out time because a new Fortnite chapter dropped yesterday. So I was kind of working on that. But it was still a lot of fun playing through on my Switch and checking out the new island and all the new stuff. And besides that, yeah, we were pretty much just chilling at home watching TV, watching YouTube and stuff, just relaxing. So yeah, not bad.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Dan, how was the weekend?
It was pretty good. I kind of just did yard work and hung out. Not a whole lot. So, yeah, pretty run-of-the-mill weekend.
For me, I started my rehearsals for a Christmas concert coming later on at my friend's church. I got some gaming in, definitely a lot of a lot of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Getting my tail beat here
They're
and
not
there,
the same.
exactly. Doing a lot of grinding. I've actually so my memory card for my OLED came in. I got the Animal Crossing one, the 520 12 gig, and
nice.
I put it in and didn't do nothing with it yet. So I haven't moved my stuff. I actually been taking games off of my systems to make space. Getting ready for Halo Infinite. This by the time you guys see this, Halo Infinite will be out, and I'll soon have it on my Xbox. But I was just making space on all my consoles because I got all my Black Friday stuff and I need to install. So been doing stuff like that. But other than that, working like crazy. We been getting a lot of Christmas cards, and Sunday I had to go in like around 4 o'clock in the morning to do I had to do some Christmas cards that we had from Saturday because we got a order for 698 cards, and so I had to cut cards. I had to put them. I had to get envelopes and stuff ready. And when I got into work, I went to go look at our photo computer. You know, while I'm doing the stuff, I could be printing out some more cards or whatever. The fan malfunctioned in the tower, and I'm like, "Oh, great! That shut our whole system down until I got back to work."
Oh my god.
So I went in around 3 o'clock because I left like at 6 something in the morning. I came back in the afternoon, got in touch with customer service, talked to them. They helped me able to reboot the machine, get it fixed and everything. Got everything fixed. There's almost 18 orders ready to be done. So from about 4 o'clock until 9:30, I was just doing Christmas stuff with a photo, just getting it all together, printing stuff out. I was supposed to do a canvas, but they canceled it. So I was just like, okay, that's fine. One order, after I got done doing the big card order, I had 20 desk calendars to fill. That took 3 hours to print itself.
My God,
So I had to
sounds like a
go.
nightmare.
Yes. So I was getting ready to do it, and this lady came in and she was asking, "Can I help her make some ornaments? Get some pictures for her
Ah,
ornaments." It's this little truck thing that had a rectangle square to put pictures in, and she wanted to put her sons in there. I'm like, okay, that's fine. She had them. She didn't have a glossy picture. She had them on some piece of paper that she printed out. So the quality looked just terrible. Yes.
uh,
So I was trying to figure out how the heck am I going to do this. So I told her, I'm like, the only way that I could probably get this as the smallest thing is putting it in as a passport. Passports are 15 some dollars, no matter what. So I had to make 3 passports with her kids to get into 3 little decorations for a tree. So that was $45 with the tax that she had to
oh
pay.
my God.
And she said, I only paid like 80 cents for these little decorations. I'm like, so you spent $46. Well, you spent close to 50 some dollars just to have some ornaments hanging on your tree for your sons who probably didn't want to pay attention.
Couldn't she
That's
have just
great.
brought like a digital picture? And you guys, or no?
No, there was no way to get that size that she trying to
Oh,
put
okay,
because
so small.
it was so small. So it was just like, how the heck am I
Oh
going to do
Lord.
this? So she took my time up for doing it. So I had to go in this morning on Monday and do 19 calendars. And I was just like, I don't want to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning. But if I don't do it, I'm going to get yelled at and things are going to get jacked.
Don't
And
you
I
love
haven't.
Christmas?
I just love it so much. But
Happy holidays.
exactly. But that's been my weekend and my work day. But with that, everybody, we're going to get into Snacktendo. Oh, also, everybody, shout out to our gallivanting gallatrat himself, Mr. Jacob Taylor, who is doing the producing today. That's why you guys don't see him on this episode, but he is here in spirit and in the chat if you are watching this live. Dan, what have you been snacking on?
That's a good question. What have I been snacking on? Man, I don't think I have anything good for this week. Come back to me. I got to think about it.
Okay. Grayson,
Oh,
what
oh
have
no.
do you need time to?
I don't like. I haven't been like snacky on anything that's like worth talking about. I feel like. Do you have anything good, Ed,
So,
to make up for our loss?
so I got a gyro today. I made a gyro run, and it was really good. I actually did Chipotle, and I keep telling everybody I do a burrito bowl, but this time I didn't do no salsa. I was like super basic. I just did like the chicken, the rice, some cheese, and the queso, like for the sauce. I
Mm.
didn't do no lettuce, none of that. And they got lime in the rice. So I'm just like, ooh, yes, how did this taste? And I was eating it and I was just like, yeah, it's bland, but I prefer eating it almost this way because the last time I did it, they didn't put salsa in. They put some red sauce that
Mm.
turned that made me almost they turned
Oh,
it up so high that it made it almost uneatable because I can't do spicy stuff.
yeah.
And like every time I tell people when I do like real spicy stuff, I turn it to Charizard, so smoke comes out, my nose start running. So I did something like real low key for it. And I had Domino's a couple of days ago. I only did, and this is the first time I think I did this. I did Italian sausage and diced tomatoes, and that's it on
How was
Domino's
that?
pizza.
Sounds good.
It was really good. Just a like really smooth eating it, and they put a lot of diced tomatoes, so I was just like, oh yeah, no one's using their tomatoes, and I was just biting into it. I ate like the whole pizza at work because I was hungry, like literally it disappeared. Um, and then just like I've been eating a lot of Hostess cupcakes, the original one, the chocolate ones.
Oh, with the white swirls on it, like
Yeah,
the oh god,
yeah.
Oh man, I haven't had those
they're
since I
so
was a kid.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so good. And then we got back to our 2 to 5 for the Twizzlers. So I'm back to eating the pulling pills like that. And yeah, I know I'm eating bad, but I can't help it. Um our Hershey's chocolate covered cherries that we had, all our bags are gone. Just disappeared for the holiday. I'm like, but they're so good. They just melt in your mouth and that nice cherry taste. Just like, I love cherry covered chocolate stuff. Like if you could find it on the sale and you'd be like, oh, this would be a nice gift to send to Eddie. Send it to me. Bring it. I want it all. I do a lot of the I think it's the Garcia cherry for Ben and Jerry's. It's like the
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
yeah, I when they're on sale at my job, I buy those a lot, and they're just they're so good. I love cherries, I really do. But that's kind of my Snacktendo for a good while until everybody starts doing some kind of new food or and everything. I know me and Austin. He showed me a picture of the jalapeno right cheddar simple puffs of the Cheetos, and I was just like,
Mm.
"This is a sin." The lies, cause, and I'm gonna get on you, Austin, when you hear this, cause you said you would die on a grave and and hopefully your casket was made out of a bag of Sun Chips, cause Sun Chips are the top tier holiness right there, and
Sun
now
chips are
you
really good.
it is. And now you dare go and saying that the Cheetos, the lies. I can't. I just can't. Because when you mention Sanchez, I'm like, my soul. Thank you. You know, that would kind of sometimes make me say hallelujah. Because the cheese ones and that sweet chili sun chips, top tier. Top tier. And when top tier comes out of my mouth, you know that it's real good. So, Dan, uh, are you good?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything, so I'll just come up with what I've been cooking lately.
Good.
Because I don't know, so Ariel just hasn't been eating chicken, so we've been moving on to like different things, and she doesn't like red meat. So I've been doing a lot of things with like seared tuna and making my own poke bowls, which have been like really good.
Yes, the holiness.
Yeah, so like we've been making a lot of sushi, making a lot of seared tuna. So that's just kind of where I've been at. I haven't had any snacks or desserts, so trying to every year between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I take a break from drinking, bad foods, and just kind of do a cleanse. So I'm pretty boring in this department right now.
Oh, that's good. It's good. You're making healthy choices. You changing up your diet or the way that you eat. That's always good. That's welcome on Snacktendo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Grayson.
Yeah, I guess so. So I make pasta a lot, which is like pretty boring. I feel like it's like an easy thing to make, and since I mostly eat vegetarian stuff, I can just throw in any vegetables and make like a one pot pasta or something. But as for like a snack, I've been making like a lot of like bruschetta, which is just like I mix together like diced tomatoes with balsamic vinegar and parmesan and garlic and some other like Italian seasonings basically, and you put that on top of like a piece of like toast or like a loaf of bread that's been toasted in the oven or whatever, and that's been really good because that's like you can easily make that at home and it tastes like a restaurant quality. Like, oh, it's so freaking good. And also just
so when you
making,
say you
like,
make your pasta, like, do you make the dough? Do you make everything from
oh,
scratch?
no, I've never made pasta from scratch.
Oh, okay.
I just mean like normal from the box.
Oh, I gotcha.
Just because I find it's so easy to make.
Yeah, super.
Um, Yeah, and just making like olive oil, like I don't know what they're called, but like olive oil you'd get like at a restaurant that usually has like a bunch of seasonings and garlic and Parmesan cheese in it. I like just making like a quick that mix of olive oil in the morning and eating that with like toast and coffee. It's just like a thing I've been into lately, just toast with like something on it. But yeah,
Cool.
it's still just pretty boring, I feel like.
No, that's good. That's
There's
really
no snacks in
good.
the house right now. Like we usually have like not usually, but we'll have like some ice cream and then I'll like get obsessed with it for like a week or two and then I'll have nothing, no sweets for like a month and then we'll find something else and I get obsessed all over again. So, but yeah, trying to be healthy right now, like Dan. So
Well, I'm just trying to be fat and eat whatever I can. Yeah.
but wait till I get to Chicago. I'm sure if I come on the show, there will be a lot of things for me to talk about. But I will eat. I'm eating everything. So
Yeah.
get ready.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we're going to get into Game Fact Events. And I actually had the Game Fact Events. And like I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Megami Tensei series. So I looked it up and it says the Megami Tensei marketed internationally as Shin Megami Tensei, formerly Revelations, is a Japanese media franchise created by Aya Nishitani, Koji Kozi Okada, Genichiro Suzuki, and Kazunari Suzuki. Primarily developed and published by Atlas and currently owned by Atlas and Sega, the franchise consists of multiple sub-series and covers multiple role-playing genres, including tactical role-playing, action role-playing, and massive multiplayer online role-playing. The first two titles in the series were published by Namco, now Bandai Namco, but have been almost always published by Atlas in Japan and North America since the release of Shin Megami Tensei. For Europe, Atlas publishes the game through the third-party companies. So, reason I brought that up is because they have the Digital Devil Saga, where it actually actually began with, and then they have Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. Now, if people don't know that Shin Megami Tensei actually started on the Nintendo. The Digital Devil Saga games started on Super Famicom, and one of them, the series started in July of 1987 in Japan, and we didn't get any of those games almost until Shin Megami Tensei, which was in North America in March 18, 2014. Because for PlayStation 1, we got Revelations Persona. So now Shin Megami Tensei is some of the games went to PlayStation 2 a little bit later, but they started on Nintendo back in Japan back in the day. Now Persona is only exclusive to PlayStation, with some of the side games being on 3DS, like Persona Q. Persona Strikers is a game that's on Switch, but it's also on PlayStation. But all the Persona games has always been on PlayStation. Um, Shin Megami Tensei has been on the DS and 3DS kind of in America, but not in Japan. They've been like on the Famicom and Super Famicom in the home computer. The Digital Devil Saga has been on PlayStation and on Nintendo's platforms, which was handheld. So it's a big history about this. And they kind of have a very interesting thing about the series, because they was talking about what these games always carry. And from it, the games, they always, they deal with occults, they deal with you merging different demons, a plot theme like taking over the world, or introducing some kind of special devil to the game and everything. So it's always been a consistent theme in all of the games. One of the biggest controversy in the Shin Megami Tensei series, or the Megami Tensei series, was the sub-series Persona 3, where characters would put a gun to their head and pull the trigger to make their persona come out. And America was scared, kind of, that game, that it would get censored, because they was thinking that these kids were committing suicide and not understanding that the gun was a special kind of it's like a wand almost to summon your persona, summon this assist to help you throughout the game and everything. There was just like because it was a thing that's dealing with guns, they thought it would be like very problematic. But surprisingly, they didn't know that Persona was still kind of a niche and low key game. So when Persona 3 and Persona FES came out, that's when it started gaining momentum. And then Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden, that's when it landed that people were just like, oh, I'm into the Persona series. That's why Persona 5 is a big game, but it's not going to be leaving the PlayStation brand anytime soon. Yes, we do have Persona. We have Joker from Persona 5 and Smash, but that's the only thing we're going to get from them. So when Persona 6 does come out, it will probably be on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. We will not get it on Nintendo console. So that is the Game Fact events, you guys. You can check out more of the history, and there are some videos out there talking about each series. So with that, everybody, we're going to get into Faminews. Dan, take it away.
All right. So first up, we got this week's new releases. It's kind of a light week for releases, but on Thursday we're getting Loop Hero, which is it's voted for one of the Indies of the Year at the Game Awards. It's basically a endless deck building roguelite. It's only been on Steam. It was released in March, but we get it this Thursday on Switch. Also on Thursday, we get Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX. And then Friday, we get a couple of visual novels, one called Memories of East Coast, and then the other one called A Year of Springs. Are either of you guys going to pick up any of these games?
I am not, due to the fact that one of the other games that will be dropping that week that I will be playing on.
Yeah, I'm personally not really interested in any of these titles either. Like I've heard very good things about Loop Hero, but seeing like gameplay and stuff, it doesn't seem like my type of game. So I might just skip out on these for now.
Yeah, I was a little interested in Loop Hero, but just because it did get voted. And like people who played it like it, but I don't know. And then Monster Rancher seems kind of fun. I might pick it up if it's on sale or something down the road. But now into the news stories. First up, we have Paper Mario.
Oh, that's what to say. I thought you skipped it. I'm like,
okay. Yeah. Paper Mario. It's coming to Switch on December 10th. I'm personally really, really looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite N64 games. Are you guys going to be playing this? And do you think we're going to be seeing a slow drip of N64 releases, like one at a time, maybe once a month?
I am 100% playing this. I'm already juggling it a lot, but I never got to play the original Paper Mario on N64.
Oh no, you haven't? Oh, this is great then.
It's really good.
So yeah, because when when it came out, I think I was doing PlayStation 1 at that time. So I was kind of like balancing, and I just didn't even think about the game. I did play Thousand Year Door, so that is my first Paper Mario game. So I'm excited to get into this game. I'm excited to post like 50,000 screenshots and just be like the foolishness, because the Paper Mario series writing has always been top notch with comedy. And it's been one of the funniest series of the game. So I'm so excited to be playing this on N64 and Switch Online. I can't wait for hopefully everybody else play it, because probably depending on how I get done with Halo Infinite with single player, if I finish that, I'm definitely jumping in to be like, I'm dedicated to this game right now, because I really want to see it, and I really want to laugh my tail off. And hopefully everybody's playing it for the weekend too, enjoying it. So yeah, I'm definitely getting it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I had Paper Mario on the Wii. Was it on the Wii Virtual Console?
Yeah.
That might have been the last place I played it. That's one of the only Paper Mario games I've never finished, but I remember liking it a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Thousand Year Door is like probably my favorite still, but I know the first one still holds up. And Ed said, the writing for these games are so funny and so good, especially the earlier ones. So yeah, I don't know if I'll play it when it comes out, but definitely like before the end of the year, try to get some time with it.
Yeah, I've played this game a bunch of times, and it's like the gameplay is like really addicting. The writing, as you guys both said, like is where Paper Mario shines.
Yeah.
This game holds up really, really well. I actually just played it maybe like a year ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 2 years ago. I emulated it, so it wasn't like as good as what we'll see here, but yeah, I'm super excited for this game to come out. I just finished Ocarina of Time, so I'm like, okay, now I can have this as my second game
Yes.
at the moment. But as far as like the Paper Mario games goes, it's probably my second favorite. I think Super Paper Mario is number one, Paper Mario is
so
two,
good.
and then
It's really good.
is three.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
fair.
I will say for the drip feeding of N64 and Sega Genesis games, it's great that they're doing this. And I'm gonna tell you people why before you guys write in or your comments, they'll turn up at me. Listen, we have a banger 2022 coming out in the first 4 months. We have games on all three platforms that are dropping. It's going to get overshadowed if we release all of these games for the N64 Sega Genesis on Switch Online. They're going to get missed and overshadowed with all of these other games coming out. Pokemon, Horizons Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Kirby, Monster
Pokemon.
Pokemon, Monster Hunter DLC with the what is it, Sunrise?
Sunbreak, but that's like in the
Sunbreak.
summer. But yeah.
Sunbreak and stuff. Like we got a lot of stuff dropping. We got indie games that's also dropping and everything. So there's a lot of content of games coming out, and I'd rather have this drip feed so that I could play other stuff. If to me personally, it gives me a balance. And don't forget, they're still adding international games that never came to America. They're still adding they're still going to be adding NES and Super Nintendo games. So there's going to be a lot of stuff adding throughout the year. There's just so much coming out to each platform that depending on where your money is going and stuff, people won't have time to play just one system's versions of games. So if it's there, oh, cool. Zelda Majora's Mask is there. I'll play that in a week or two because Elden Ring just dropped. And you might get done with Elden Ring. You might love it and everything. Be like, okay, now I can go to Majora's Mask. So I love this drip feed because of all the stuff that's dropping, but just within the 4 months. Last week we spoke about 13 Sentinels coming out in April and everything. And people been wanting other players to play that and stuff. So there's gonna be a wealth of games coming out. So I rather, them drip feed it so I could play all these other games that's dropping.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. I don't, when they announced Paper Mario, people were excited, but I saw just a lot of people, per usual, complaining on the internet about just doing one game at a time. So yeah, again, like I mean, I just beat Ocarina of Time. I've been playing it since the N64 expansion passes dropped. Like I'm okay with this one game at a time drip feed, even if it comes out once a month. Regardless, it's going to be great and it gives me time to play games. What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. Like the drip feed is totally fine with me. If they dropped 10 Nintendo 64 games in one day, I'm not gonna play any of them probably, and then people are just gonna forget about them like a week later, like Ed said. But this way, they can advertise each game and kind of promote it and get it out there. I just don't want them to end up in the same position with the Super Nintendo and the NES games, where every single time they drop them, we're bringing you, Bob's Quest 3 and Burger Farm 2, like these random games that nobody knows, when there are a bunch of other great games that they can add. So as long as they're adding high quality, the games that we're asking for every few months, that's fine with me. I just don't want it to be like, okay, now we're going to give you like an obscure game. It's like, wait, but there's like a bunch of other games you guys haven't even talked about yet. But yeah. I think, just bring on the
I still think that there's going to be like a Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, Game Boy Regular. I think that's going to be added in too. So I'm really not concerned about like them just giving us one game a month or whatever either. I think there's going to be a lot more content down the road.
Yeah, because if they drop a GameCube channel or something like that, oh, wait till you're going to see about 50 game requests dropping on that mug. And it's going to be ridiculous. You'd be like, oh, see, I knew. Yeah, y'all didn't like the GameCube back in the day, but now y'all show y'all true colors about that system.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Nintendo loses a court case regarding pre-orders in Germany. This is kind of an interesting story. The German Court of Appeals have reversed the decision that previously allowed Nintendo to have the 7-day policy for pre-order cancellation. The court sided with the Federation of German Consumer Organizations and the Norwegian Consumer Council, who argued that pre-orders should be held to the same standard as other digital purchases in Europe, allowing a 14-day period in which the product could be refunded. The decision, translated by Nintendo Life, stated that since the preload was not a playable game, that the download is worthless to buyers and that Nintendo does not fulfill its part of the exchange until the game's release date. Nintendo has not announced or made any changes to its pre-order policy on the eShop, but this decision will likely result in pre-orders being able to be refunded at least up until the game's release date, at least in the EU. So I think the interesting thing here is that Nintendo actually lost a court case
For once.
They never lose these. And I kind of tried looking into this a little more. I couldn't really find what sparked this news story, but did anything stand out to you about this story, or do you guys have any thoughts on it?
So I think they were just trying to be like, we have a country policy for digital media when it comes to returns for pre-orders, and I think they were just trying to get Nintendo on the same board with it. So I think PlayStation, PC, Microsoft, anything that's a digital download that's already preloaded on the system, I guess they all had a 14 day return policy to it. So they just wanted to get Nintendo the matches. So I don't see it as a loss for Nintendo, because at least they did have a return policy for it. But they're just saying, hey Nintendo, you guys got to play fair and just move it up to the 14 days. That's all you got to do. Add another week. So I don't think it's such a big thing for it. And I think Nintendo's going to comply. And don't forget, a lot of people still do physical for Nintendo than digital. We can't get sales for digital games, and I think the only thing Nintendo probably may fear is that reviews that may come out for that game, if it's not delayed, that they may see the review score without reading the context, and they're losing out of money because they got to return something. But I think that's the only fear that they probably have. I think for a lot of us here or anywhere else, I don't think it really matters because we do so much physical stuff for Nintendo. And if we do decide to do digital, a lot of us, we don't even go back. Even with reviews being out, we don't cancel our downloads or anything unless we find out that the game is like buggy or something. Like that one game you and Jacob brought, Dan.
Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
Not Baldur's Gate. What's it called? Baldo? Is that this in the game?
The one that looked like a Studio Ghibli game and it was broken as ever.
Yeah. I think Dan's camera's kind of...
I think Dan froze.
It's fine. It's okay. I was gonna say, like, yeah, for me personally, like, I pretty much only buy digitally these days on my Switch, and I wouldn't. For me personally, I wouldn't like pre-buy a game on the eShop in advance. I would just buy it the day before or then like the night of, so I can let it download. I can play when it's live. And honestly, I've never even thought about getting a refund for something I've purchased digitally, because I feel like if you're gonna buy something digitally like that or pre-order on the eShop, you're kind of like set in stone that you're gonna play that game. But like you said, there are people who like maybe they saw the reviews and it's like, oh, this game's like broken and they want to cancel it. So that's fair. I think they should have the option to do that if they feel the need to. So I don't think it's gonna affect Nintendo too much. Like they might like change it and comply, but I don't think they're gonna like lose money or something.
Yeah, and I think that Well, with some of the pre-orders for the eShop, for just to let people know that you do get bonus coins that end up into your account. So, and not the Nintendo account that you do online, but your actual eShop account. When you buy games,
Yeah.
you get like bonus coins, and you can redeem those for games. So sometimes when you do a pre-order, you may get like 100 or 250 coins or stuff, which is
Bonus.
like $1 or $2. And when you're doing a lot of pre-order or buying games, a lot of that stuff adds up. So if you if you decide to get a refund, you lose those coins. So I think that's what people got to keep in mind, that if you decided to cancel your pre-order, you lose out on those coins. And sometimes that could be, and I know some people be like, well, what if they use it? Well, Nintendo might not give you back all your money. I think that's the thing we're gonna have to see what happens, because the thing about it is that in order for you to get these coins, you had to pre-order it.
Yeah.
So
and that money gets taken out of that money gets taken out immediately, right? Like when you're buying that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they may be like, well, I'm like, since you don't have the coins in your account, we may have to return you less than what you paid for, because in order to have these 200 coins, you have to keep the game and everything.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a way to, and if they use the coins, I don't think there's a way for Nintendo to like, they can't like deduct it and give them like negative balance or something. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah.
So, I think we'll probably get more information later on. I think Nintendo is going to comply with this, and we shall literally see. But we're going to move on to the next story, because Pokemon Unite surpasses 50 million downloads. All players to receive free EOS tickets, or is it EOS or AOS tickets? EOS. We'll go with EOS. EOS. Do you play Pokemon Unite, and do you think there'll be more content added to the game? So I don't play Pokemon Unite. But do you play it?
I did play it. So when it came out, I mean, I probably put in like 40 or 50 hours into it on my Switch. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a very good MOBA that I think anyone can sort of get into, whether it's your first one or if you played one before. Why I stopped playing, because I actually tried to transfer my data over to the mobile version when Pokemon Unite came out on mobile devices, and somehow my data got deleted on both accounts. So you know what? I just stopped playing, and I never went back, because I hate losing. It's not like there's a bunch of progress that I lost, but for some reason I just never felt inclined to like start fresh. But I think it's a really good game. I think if my data didn't get deleted, I would still be playing now, because it's just like kind of that game that I can just hop on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes when I have some time and play a few matches. And as far as the content, yeah, I totally think they're gonna keep adding content. They just announced like a new Pokemon that's getting added to the game, like I think a few days ago. So yeah, I think a lot of people are playing it. A lot of people are having fun. So I'm just, it's cool to see Pokemon like take on a different genre and sort of nail it for the most part. Like it's a good game, you know. So yeah.
Nice.
I don't have much to say about this. So Dan, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I only played a little bit of it. I was like starting to really get addicted to it, so I just kind of gave it up. Like I just found myself, it was that ultimate like, okay, one more match kind of game. And I was like,
the matches are like 10 minutes too. So
yeah.
like...
And then 6 hours later, I'm like, what am I doing? So, I mean, it's a super fun game. I do wish there was like a little more content, like at least, the maps could have like some different skins, something to look at that's a little bit different. A little more incentive to play too. I mean, I don't know, the costumes for my avatar character kind of didn't really do it for me. So, yeah, I mean, it's an awesome game. I'm really, like you said, Grace, and I'm glad they like tried something new and nailed it. And I kind of hope that means more for Pokemon. Like, I would love to see a Pokemon like MMORPG. That would be a blast. And this franchise could nail like a lot of things. So it's a good step in the right direction.
For sure, yeah. It does get like you said, it kind of like repetitive after a while because you feel like you're kind of doing the same things over and over and over again. Yeah, that game getting some sort of like paid or just a free like, oh, we're adding like his whole new gameplay mode or something would be cool and could potentially like bring me back into it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I used to use Machamp. That was my guy.
Oh, Zera Aura was mine. My main.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's kind of a slow news week, so that's about it. Ed, we'll kick it back to you.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Before we get into Doc Mo, the GameCube turned 20 years old, and I kind of want to ask you guys just briefly, with the GameCube, which I would say two games. If you played the GameCube, which two games stood out for you for the system? Dan, did you play the GameCube?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson, you played the GameCube.
Yeah, shit ton.
Okay. Dan, what two games stood out for you for that system?
I'll start with Wind Waker.
Yes.
Right, like that game was just so cool and innovative at the time. I remember when it came out, I was just so underwhelmed by the graphics. And then when I played it, I was like, oh, these are great. But like, having that kind of just open sea, it was really like the first experience I had with a game like that, where I just felt like I could explore every inch of the map and it'd be worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to go to every island. I wanted to do everything in that game. And it was just like, and it still was just a great Zelda game too. Like I loved the dungeons. So that's one of them, but come back to me for the second one.
To me, I feel like this is the best form of Ganon. And features
it was the best Ganon fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it features one of the best bosses from that game. It's the ghost boss with the mask. Because you had to pick him up and roll him into like the spikes, and it hit him, and all of these ghosts came out dancing and stuff, and you just smacking them. That was the most funniest and awesome fight. But man, that time freeze when you get to the castle and all the enemies are there, and it's just like
So cool.
It was so adrenaline. Like you didn't realize that Wind Waker was a adult like game hidden under this cell shaded style of art, and it's still classic. Like I wouldn't change anything about this game, in a sense. But Grayson, what is your what's your first game? And then I'll go after you.
God, when you said two games, there was like 10 games that popped up, and then I thought about like another 10. I'm like, gosh. So I was gonna say Wind Waker 2, but I'll go with Melee for my first one. Smash Brothers Melee.
Nice.
Smash Brothers. Growing up, that has been such a important game to me because I played the first one on Nintendo 64 as a kid so much with my older uncle, my cousins and stuff. It's just probably hundreds and hundreds of hours. And then the same for Melee. Like I remember seeing Melee for the first time at like a Best Buy or something, and I didn't know this game even existed. I remember seeing like Bowser fighting against like Peach or something. I'm like, this game exists, like I have to have it. And that was like probably my most played GameCube game.
That's funny. I couldn't get into Melee when it came out. We played so much N64 Smash that like it was a completely different game from the N64 version. So I never adjusted well to Melee, and like Smash was our game in college. Like it was literally on the TV all the time. like characters had like 30,000 kills on
one
game.
file.
That's how much we played. Yeah. So it was like I never got into GameCube Melee. I never liked it. It's one of my worst things as a Nintendo fan.
Wow, I don't know.
I think it's literally hard to go back and play that game now because of Ultimate. Ultimate is so polished as a Smash game. It's hard to go back. To me personally, I agree with you, Dan. Like I played Smash Melee, but I never got to fight anyone. with that on that game. It was just like, what am I playing this for? But playing Ultimate, look, Dan and David are professionals. They have whipped my tail many a time with my girls' Zero Suit Samus. And Dan is sneaky because they'll be like, da technique. I'm like, wait, what did you just do? And he's just so smooth. And David is so good playing. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna learn and come back, and the next time I get my tail whooped. But I have so much fun just laughing with them and just enjoying this game. Like, Ultimate is so good. Yeah, it's hard to go back to Malay.
You want me to say my second game now, or do you want to do?
I'm gonna go so you can save
Okay.
it, so in case you want to think about it. Well, for me, it's Tales of Symphonia.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is all-time iconic classic game. This is the one that the Tales series, and it's a mixture of strategy RPG and action RPG, action mechanics, fighting, getting on that 2D 2.5D plane and just doing these techniques and just smacking them in. I literally remember putting about 80 hours playing this game for almost 2 months before I finished it, because I wanted to get so powerful, and loving the voice acting, the characters, chocolate. It was just it's a goofy game. It's a goofy game, but it's so serious in its themes, and you get so sucked in. Like, the moment you start playing it, and it was a game that just came out of nowhere, because we didn't really get none of the Tales games until Symphonia came out to GameCube, and I didn't even know that it went to PlayStation 2. I literally played it with my friends and stuff on at their house with the GameCube, which leads to a funny story that they fell asleep on me while fighting the last boss. So they're playing other characters, and then they stopped moving, and I looked, and they was all asleep. And so I'm fighting the other characters. So I beat the game with my one character while they all was getting beat up and dying and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, great. But man, Tales of Symphonia is still to this day a classic. I want a re-release. I want a collection on Switch. I'll take Symphonia 2 also from the Wii. I'll take that if they want to put it. But Tales of Symphonia is definitely top tier for GameCube for me. Dan, what is your second game?
And I'm tossing up between Resident Evil 4 and Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem.
I thought about RE4 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is just I know people kind of hate on it because it's when the game started going in a little bit of a different direction, or the series. But man, I loved it on GameCube. I thought the controls are perfect. It was just the perfect combination of action and scary. Yeah, I'll go with that one. But Path of Radiance is also fantastic because that was my first Fire Emblem game, and now I'm a big fan.
Actually, I replayed Resident Evil 4. I think it was either last year or early this year on my PlayStation, I think, and I'm like, this is the perfect game. This game is
so good.
It holds up so well.
Yes.
My second game.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is kind of like an off the wall one, but I'm gonna go with Beautiful Joe.
Good one.
Yeah, all those Capcom games are just Okami are incredible, and just Beautiful Joe just doesn't get talked about too much. I love the way the combat and the way you can fast forward time and slow motion and VFX and all these other stuff, and how you're doing that in combat, but you're also solving puzzles using those things too. I love the story and the characters, and it's just so anime and funny and comical and ridiculous, over the top, and that's my favorite type of video game. So yeah, Beautiful Joe. I love the sequel. I played Red Hot Rumble, which was a Smash Brothers clone that came out on GameCube. So yeah, shout out to Beautiful Joe. That's a series that is in much need of a comeback. I would love a reboot, just a game called Beautiful Joe, or it could be Beautiful Joe 3. I don't care, just anything.
That's a good one.
Is it a Go-Go Shin Baby or
Henshin a Go-Go? I think.
Henshin
a Go-Go Baby.
Love that. When it came out, I ran to the store to put my $50 to get that game. I still have that and part 2 for my GameCube. So
so good.
My second game. Now, everybody can say it's Twilight Princess. You can say it's Mario Kart Double Dash. You can say it's Eternal
Oh.
Darkness or some of that. But no one cannot deny Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Metroid could work in a 3D space. And seeing this beautiful world from Seven's perspective, I put the controller down. Just the when you go through the water and it hits her face shield, you see the little drips and stuff. And when you go to the ice planet, sometimes you see a little thing freezing. And I was impressed, just like Retro how like just that game from Retro made me fall in love with them. Like I was just
Yeah.
like, whatever you guys do, I would support with the quickness. And Metroid Prime, I was shocked on how well I I place it above any first person shooter besides Titanfall 2. I think the Metro Prime would give Titanfall 2 a run for its money. I I at the time when Metro Prime came out, I looked at Halo and no disrespect to Xbox or the Halo brand, but I was just like, I can't play you at all. You have nothing on Metro Prime when it comes to just shooting. I played that game so many times and then exploring the world and finding out I could get my story. I was scanning everything. The boss fights was so good. Like it just felt like how is this a Japanese game done by a Western company and now it changed the perspective like okay Metroid now is a Western game in a sense like
Mm.
it's not a Japanese game anymore like it is still Nintendo's but it's just like no this belongs to Retro now like now personally for me Metroid the 2D ones belong to Mercury Steam like I don't know who else could touch the Metroid franchise just like no, like them. Yeah, Koei Tecmo Team Ninja, they did a good job to me personally with Other M. But Metroid Prime, man, I was taken aback. And then if you had your surround sound, the setup, man, it you just don't realize on how good it used to sound with the sound bar, not sound bar, with a nice stereo setup. You used to just hear the water, the shots, the little bugs, and just like all these little details that you would hear in the game that that you couldn't hear through your TV speakers. So for me, it's definitely Metroid Prime.
God.
Jake, Jacob, if you are hearing this, would you like to give 2 games or anything? Uh,
Oh, there goes.
great choice.
Ooh.
Ooh,
God, the GameCube had so many good games.
it did.
God. No. We probably haven't even gone through like half of like the best of the best stuff on there. Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like it.
Double Dash was so good too.
Double Dash.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Star Fox Assault was okay. Yeah, Paper Mario, like
Animal.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Aaron Domingos on Twitch says Animal Crossing.
Good one.
Such a good one. That's how I got into the series.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
I forget about that game. I feel like a lot of people just forget about that first little game, that simple little game.
yes.
New Horizons was my first.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, that's just a little throwback to the GameCube celebrating 20 years. Man, I can't believe it's been that long, but it's such a great system, and I think that's why people are still wanting those games on Switch, and why people still find that system interesting. It only did 14 million sales, but the games they're so classic and they're so like industry changing in a sense that people will still are willing to play those games and buy them if they ever came out. So we're going to get into doc mode. Shin Megami Tensei 5 has been out for a couple of weeks and we have been investing a lot of time grinding, laughing, fusing demons, and more. and more hours like that we put in. And we think it's time to talk about this game. So, Elite Block Agents, let's discuss Shin Megami Tensei 5 and will a possible sequel or past games arrive on Switch in the future? We shall see. So, Dan, you actually posted some great questions in here. So, I want to ask you guys, where are you in the game? Um, Grayson, where are you in the game? And Shin Megami Tensei.
So I hate to admit, but I have not played Shin Megami Tensei in the past few weeks just because of like Pokemon came out and a bunch of other stuff happened. So I think I'm still only like 11 or 12 hours into it. I beat the boss at the Diet Building, which is like I think the second major boss there, the Snake Lady.
Yeah.
Is that the second boss or the third? I feel like maybe the second.
I think that was the second.
Yeah. Okay. It
Like,
took me a very
Hydra
long
was
time to
definitely
beat
the
her.
first one. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, because after you beat her, there's like a lot of story stuff that happens. And I remember stopping the game right after all that happened. So yeah, not too far.
Yeah, I'm in like the fourth major exploration area. I'd say I'm about 45 hours into the game. And that does not include all the times I've lost so much progress just dying from random battles. So yeah, I'm pretty close to the end. I think I doubt there's any other major exploration areas left. I think this is probably the last one, and maybe a dungeon left or something. But yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, so I just got into the boss with the snake heads and everything. After you see the memory of the angels fighting the demon, right before you get to the tower, I just got there because I've been grinding a lot. I've been putting like hours into my characters and trying to raise up the level so I can hit and been fusing some of the enemies. So that is where I'm at in the game. So what have been some of your strategies for a lot of these fights? Dan, what has been some of your strategies?
One of the first things. So again, I don't know where everybody is in this game, but like, or like if this has come up, but one of the miracles that I definitely did early was when you fuse a demon, you get experience points and stat boosts, leveled up based on the demons that you fuse. So basically, I've just been stockpiling demons, and then when I fuse them, they end up gaining like 2 or 3 levels and becoming more powerful than your main character. So like that's been a big thing. I also think it's important not to get attached to any of the demons that you're fighting with. Like I have friends that are like Pokemon friends that have come over to this game and they're like, but I like my demons. It's like, nah, you got to get rid of that, man. Yeah. Like you just can't get attached. Like there's no emotional investment into the demons. So that's like one other thing. And then just like exploring and finding, there's areas where you can level up all your demons at, and you can find glory chests, which give you 50 to 100 glory. And even finding the Mimin are like, everything's very rewarding when you explore. So, take your time, explore. That's also a big strategy for it as well.
I know for me, I've been trying to find the enemy's weak spots. So with my magic. So when I find it, if I got that demon, or that assists with the magic that I need, I use them, and kind of like hopefully they give me an extra turn. So when I get back to starting with my main character, I go in and be able to attack and attack. And I kind of realized that when your main character that you can name, I call mine Eddie. So when it levels up, I was putting a lot into the attack, but I'm just like, no, you know what? Let me put more into evade, because that is going to be the one that they miss you a lot, and that's the one that's going to take the less damage. Because you can have a powerful attack and all the vitality, but they will hit you with 2 or 3 hits and you're dead. They're like
Yeah.
taking a lot of energy off, because one thing in this game is you do not get no equipment at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I've been doing that. I started out with evade and defense as like the two that I were really loading out at the beginning.
Mhm.
And now towards the end of the game, I've just actually been going all on strength, because there's moves you can get through essences towards the end of the game where it's like it's a strength based attack that has an element.
Yeah.
So I have like fire kick, light kick, dark kick, all just stacked up on my main character. Like,
Nice.
and the strength is up like to 80 right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, I think like what Dan said about exploring, that's like a must if you want to just like really get strong and level up your character. Like it's just so rewarding because you're always like, whatever you're doing, it's gonna contribute to you getting stronger or your demons getting stronger. And I think it's also important to like whenever you get stuck on one of these bosses, instead of just like what's the term? Like instead of just like hitting your head against the wall and trying over and over and over again with the same party, you really have to just like sit down and be like, okay, what is this boss doing mostly? What kind of attacks is it doing? And then change your party or even your own main character's stat. 'Cause you can change your character's like stats, right? If you use like the essences or something. Or,
Yeah, so you can use an essence to
or not
change.
the stats, are like the resistances and weaknesses.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff.
could change
Okay.
the resistances.
Yeah.
You need to use a miracle to get that.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you
that-
can load out in that too.
Yeah, that can make or break you losing to a boss. So like Ed said, if this boss hits you once and that's your weakness, you're probably gonna get knocked. Your whole party's about to get knocked out because this boss is about to hit you like 4 or 5 times in a row. Or if you end up in a random encounter with like 4 enemies, you have to be very careful with like what to do next. Which is also another tip. Like even if you're just doing random encounters, do not think. Just prepare for every single fight to be like a boss level encounter, basically, because you will
That's
just
so
lose
true.
like so much progress. And I think we probably all like learned like just to save as often as like I will literally fight something, go back and save, fight something, go back and save. And once you unlock the more of the the miasma points or whatever, like the fast travel points, it makes it a lot easier to like explore different sections and like save more often.
Right.
But yeah, like just make sure like your enemies are not weak to the boss's main element attack, or else you're just gonna have a bad time. So you just can't get used to your demons. You have to fuse them and get not the most powerful demons, but the demons that are just gonna be helpful for you and what you're trying to like beat at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just to piggyback on what you're saying, like you can't brute force your way through this game. Like
Oh,
every
no.
other JRPG, you just sit there and you can mash
Yeah.
attack and like win. Right. But yeah, like every battle you have to be super strategic about. Like you have to know who's in your party, you have to know what they're weak to, you have to know what the enemy is weak to. Like I always have 10 spyglass on me just to like know what the enemy is about.
Mhm.
And just to get everybody some understanding, you can choose a level for this game. So if you feel like the game is too hard, go ahead and start this game on easy. You know, if you really don't want a challenge, or you feel like it's going to be too grindy, but you still want to enjoy the game, you can start on easy. I think all of us are playing it on normal. So
I think I actually changed it to easy to beat the boss. Because easy, and it's funny because easy is still not it's still not easy. Like it's still like I was still losing sometimes, but it made it a little bit easier. But yeah, don't be afraid to change it. Can you change it back and forth? Because I feel like there's one that you can't go back to if you go back. Like did you go to?
You can't go back if you play it on hard. Easy and normal, you can flip back and forth.
There it is. Yeah.
okay.
Oh. I've been tempted to go to easy on a couple of fights, and then like I just take like a break. I'm like, you know what? I'll play it tomorrow. And then like
I just get so annoyed. I'm like, I just don't have time for this. I don't want to like beat it.
Yeah, and then I just like load out my party differently and like, beat the boss without getting hit.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna jump into talking about the art style, music, and graphics. I love this art style. I love when the character runs and the blue hair is just flowing. Definitely when you go fast. like I kind of like its crudeness of the demon designs and everything. Uh, Man, the music I love when you get just it's a regular battle system and it be like and when the drums hit but and I'm just like yeah I'm into this fight. It's so good. The soundtrack is so good, but I love just the regular the battle fights, and then when she starts singing and it's just like the drum bass is just like boom 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 boom. It's like it has a rock slash house mix to it in the field, and I just be like, man, this is so good, so entertaining. I love this soundtrack. What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, I think the music is pretty good, especially like you said. Like there are times when I think it's when you go into your Magatsushi like thing where the music will start to change. Is that what it
Mhm.
is? And yeah, I love that when you're like in a really intense fight and it's like, oh, I have to beat this boss or else I have to start all over or whatever. As far as like the art style, I don't really love how the game looks, like the textures and like where you're running around and exploring and stuff.
Yes.
But that doesn't stop me from still like I just still love exploring and I still love like getting every single thing on the map that I possibly can and then moving on to the next area. It's still really fun to like run around and like what the map does interesting too is like there you're gonna see things on the map that you can't access at the moment, but you're gonna spend time like trying to get. Have you guys done that? Like you're trying to get somewhere, but you don't really know how to get there. And you're like, okay, I'll just play
Yeah.
this. I'll get there
Yeah,
later once they
because
open
there's
up.
like so much with the verticality in it too that just
Yeah,
like doesn't
exactly.
help you on the map.
Yeah, because there are times when you have to run around like a really high platform, but it doesn't tell you that's like it's a higher or lower place. So you spend a lot
Right.
of time looking for things like, is it in this house? Is it in this mountain? Is this, wherever? Um, yeah, I do think the character model designs are pretty cool. Like you said, the monster designs, and like whenever there's a cutscene, I'm always very like into what's happening because you do spend
Yes.
a lot of you are spending a majority of the time just fighting monsters and running around and grinding. So when you get to these story moments and the bosses, you're really like tuned in to what's happening. You're like, oh shit, I need to like watch this and put the volume up and like stop everything else I was doing because I need to know what's going on in this game because it doesn't really give you a lot to work with. It's like it just kind of throws you in there for the most part.
Yeah, I think like I actually love the art direction of like the demons and everything. I think
Mhm.
that like gothic post-apocalyptic world is really cool. The music is just like the music in the areas, it's so unsettling and it's
Mhm.
just like the perfect vibe for this game. So like the music is just so spot on, especially in like that first exploration world. Like just everything about it is unsettling, and that's what they were going for, and I think they nailed it. And also this is like a weird thing that I picked up on and I don't know if you guys picked up on this too. When you like swing your sword as the main character and he
Mhm.
does that like he sounds exactly like Link. Like is it the same
A
Really?
little
voice
bit,
actor?
yeah.
Like
I never thought about that.
when you play it you're not going to be able to unhear it now.
God,
Like it has to be the same thing as Link, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, use the sound bit."
that'd be so funny if someone were to find out and like write an article about that. Like the game stole Nintendo's like sound for Link or something.
Yeah, seriously. Next time you're playing, like when you go and like open a chest, just listen to it. Like it's 110% Link.
Oh, wow. Well, exploration. Um, is it worth to search every corner? To me, yes, it is worth it because that's where you find all the side quests. And there's so many different side quests to this game. Like there's one side quest that I'm doing where this one lady she's asking you if you could defeat this other demon because she's telling everybody to have free will, but she's really like tricking them to like do things for her. And then you go to her ready to fight her, and then she asks you to do request to fight that other demon that you got the first request. So it's like who do you go with, who do you trust, and who do and it's so cool that they did this. To me personally, the side quests is I'm always looking for a side quest because it
Hmm.
gives you definitely extra money. Uh, extra items and things that's going to help you to definitely experience points to grind and everything. And so yeah, it's definitely uh exploring. And then when you find these little monsters that give you a lot of glory, they like give you 5 glory and stuff. Finding them is a great thing.
Mm.
I just yeah, man, I I searched nooks and credits, and then you see the Coca-Cola machines, like the vending machines, and
Mm.
they're glowing. I keep running to them to get whatever they have collected for there. So I think personally, it is they want you to explore this world, this
Yeah.
demonic world, you know,
Mhm.
and that's what I do. What about
It,
you guys, Dan?
Yeah, I'm exploring. Like once you get into the later stages of the game, those enemies, like when you're trying to recruit demons, they start fleecing you for Mecha. Like
Uh-huh.
like
Oh
they'll
yeah.
yeah, they're asking like 14,000 sometimes. So like you need a lot of money, and getting that money is from just finding all those vending machines, like you said, Ed, doing side quests,
mhm.
finding the treasure chests, and always like look at the key on the map too, because it shows you where you can get glory chests in the game as well. Um, Exploration is just absolutely key, and it's so enforced by the developers. Like you could just you can't walk into that Hydra fight without exploring everything before it, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, or you're just going to get bodied. So yeah, exploring just does everything well for you, and you get a lot of essence on the way too, which you're going to really need for your main character as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's just so much incentive to just explore, and I think the developers have done just a really good job of like giving everyone a reason to just want to go through every nook and cranny and stuff. And the side quests, like you said, Ed, I think there's some that are sort of like your typical JRPG, like go kill 5 of these monsters, but the majority of them I think are pretty interesting and tell like they have a really nice little story attached to them, and it's not just a generic JRPG like, oh, go get this thing for me and bring it back. Like you don't know if they're gonna actually reward you, or if you have to end up like in a boss fight at the end of it all, you know.
Yeah.
So you always just have to
Yeah.
be prepared to like get tricked, or like you just never know. And that's like the whole thing of the game. It's so dark and grim, and like nobody trusts anybody, and you're like, no, you monsters don't really trust you, and like it's just like fits with the whole vibe of that whole post-apocalyptic thing, you know.
I
Yeah,
like
it
how the
really does. It does have that just like vibe in every sense of the world too. Like
Like, everyone's
I,
out to get you, basically.
yeah, exactly. And they're all out to get each other too. I mean, those backstabbing side quests, those happen in like every exploration area. And it's like you gotta choose which one you're gonna go with on it. It's
Yeah.
great.
and I know for me, I think because this game is focusing on demons and darkness and stuff, to me, I kind of feel like rolling with it. Be like, yeah, I want to. My trust is believing you because you're a demon and you're dark, and so I want to destroy anything that gives light because you know that I don't feel like the light has a part of this world. You know, if I want to be the hero, let me be the hero, and not this other person. So yeah, I love the exploration.
And
Before
it's
we
funny
get
you
it,
said that,
oh, good.
Ed, too. I was just gonna say, like, I'm so used to like all these JRPGs where I fight against the church. So
Mhm.
like this one, this is the first one where I'm like, oh man, I'm fighting with them. This kind of sucks.
I kind of like so before we get into the fusing and in the discussion, Gustav, the shopkeeper. I his the voice acting for him is terrifying. And definitely when he laughs, he like and just the way that he talks, I'm like, you are terrifying. He looks like an enemy in the Legend of Zelda series.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love him, but I'm terrified of him. You know, because all he cares about is just like, I know, I don't care what you do. Just find me these little things and give me money to buy stuff. The Maka. But when the first time I met him and heard him, I was just like, okay, can he be the most terrifying enemy in video games of 2021?
He's gonna end up being the final boss or something.
Right. I'm like, because I kind of want to use him to be like, how do I get extra money? Like, I wonder if that's one of his magical abilities to give me extra money. What about you guys? Is there like a demon or anything that you met first that terrified you or you was awed by?
They're all kind of interesting in their own sense, right? Like,
Mhm.
there's that little dragon, I forget his name at the beginning. He looks like a turtle with like this giant dragon tail.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Yeah, and I mean, I keep using this word, but like a lot of them are just like unsettling. Like that purple one with like the big pregnant belly, like that one's just so creepy to look at. So I don't know, they all stand out because they're so unique and like so well designed. But yeah, and the bosses are just amazing too.
Yeah. What about you, Gracie?
I mean, I don't think I have like a specific. I can't think of any specific ones that I like gravitate towards. I don't know. I just think the designs are cool. Like, cause I just remember them from playing Persona. So to me, it's like, oh, I know this monster has like this power. I definitely need to grab this, or like, I need to get this certain ability or something. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't remember who's on my team at the moment because I haven't even turned the game on in like 2 weeks. But yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Speaking of teams, let's get into fusing. What did you guys think of this system? Do you love it? Do you have some problems with it? Dan, I know you said that you enjoy the fusing because you get like a lot of enemies and fusing together because it helps you. Um, what else about it do you like, or is there something that you wish they did better with the fusing system?
No, I think it's almost flawless in my eyes, right? Like,
Mhm.
so there's like multiple different ways you can fuse to, like multiple options. And there's a section where you can actually like fuse a demon if you don't have it, if you just have the mecha.
Mhm.
So it shows you like how many demons you can get to, like, or what demons you need to get to fuse in a different direction. And I've been doing this a lot lately too. So when it's a full moon, I go to like one of the ley lines and save, and I end up like just fusing as much as I can because there's times where you can make mistakes. So they make a mistake on a full moon, and you can actually get a demon that's like 6 or 7 levels better
Whoa.
than
Ooh.
what you have in your party, and it becomes like a little overpowered. So that's like a cool little tip or something that happens. Or it could be a mistake in the wrong direction. One time I fused 2 level 60 demons and I got a slime on level 1.
What?
So yeah, so I was like, oh shit, I gotta reload this game now. But like I just think it's cool how many different options there are. And then once you're really starting to get towards the special demons as well.
Yes.
I know at the beginning you get like the Great Pixie. She ends up kind of sucking, but you can end up fusing her into something better later on. So yeah, there's just so much cool stuff with fusing, and I love it. I love like getting 5 levels up and then just fusing everything into a new party and learning how to work with this new party,
Yeah, so Sophia, she handles all the fusing, and I love the animation where you're about to fuse and like she kind of goes away and then she rises at this big statue and you got this piano and you're kind of like duh, 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 like you're playing.
That scene is so extra.
Yes, it is. But it's so cool that this is a new way to fuse demons. Like, and you'll see your demons, they'll like turn into some water, and then come together and fuse it to a new demon that you could use in your party. And I love the animation and that they put into that. I feel like this fusion system is perfect. Because it kind of takes what Tokyo Mirage Session has done, and even Persona. in a sense, and it shows you, well, not so much Persona, because the Persona you had to guess what you was gonna get. Tokyo Mirage Session kind of showed you, if you fuse these two demons and stuff, this is what you're going to get. And the same thing kind of happens in Shin Megami Tensei 5, that when you're about to fuse those enemies together, they do show you what you end up getting. And then there's other enemies that you could look, even just when you're loading, they'll tell you some history about the enemies that's in the game and everything. And I think that's really cool. So I love the fusion system. I think it's perfect. What about you, Grayson?
Yeah, it's really good. The cool thing is, like, for me, like what Dan was saying, like being able to get, like, you're constantly getting more stronger and stronger monsters, and your party's constantly getting switching up, which I like a lot, because compared to a game like Pokemon, where I have my party and then they kind of evolve into their final form. After that, after level 36 or whatever the heck it is that your starter evolves, that your team is mostly already evolved. So I kind of get bored sometimes in Pokemon, where I have, like, you're just using the same Pokemon over and over again. But in this game, in Shin Megami, it's like, well, no, I'm constantly getting new party members and new skills and different abilities, and you're always just like switching things up, and all the battles always feel fresh, and it's just super satisfying when you have, like, when you just upgraded your team really, to like higher levels, and you're about to go fight like a boss for the first time or something. So I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we're going to get to the final section of this discussion. Our overall thoughts. What do we think of this game? Dan, final word. What do you think about this game in total?
I think it's great. I think it's one game that, any JRPG lover should play. It is a little bit light in story, and that kind of may deter some people, but the gameplay loop is just so addicting. There's so much to do. The exploration is amazing. And as far as, like, little tips and tricks go, I think, like we said, explore, always have spy glasses on you, because those little, like, teardrop, I forget what they're called, like Miata or something.
Yeah.
They're like those special enemies. Like, if you use a spy glass on them, you can figure out what their weakness is, and then go against their weakness and get that extra experience points. And they give very, very good items too. They give you items that level up your main character, or they level up a demon that's in your party. So, kind of search out for those. And don't, there's always ways to just beat these enemies. And using dampeners is a big thing too. I always use dampeners, and the more you fuse, the better abilities you get too. So I just focus on defense a lot. I always guard when they're about to build up a powerful attack. That takes away the chance of critical. So that's it. That's it for me.
What about you, Grayson? Final thoughts and any tips or tricks?
Yeah, I mean, I really like this game. I can't wait to put more time into it. I think it does a good job of, because I played Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS before, but I only played a few hours of it, and it was challenging too. But I think what this game does differently is, like, not only is the combat really fun, but the exploration, I think, just takes it to, like, a whole nother level. I think if it didn't have that exploration and doesn't have that way of enticing players to look for things, I don't think it would have grabbed me as much as it did if it was just like a straight up, like, more of a linear RPG. I didn't know. I don't know why, but I found myself enjoying running around and looking for all the things so much fun. And, like, now that we're talking about it, I cannot wait to. I'll probably jump back into the game tonight and see and check out what's going on and go and progress and stuff. But yeah, it's awesome. I think if anybody's looking for a really deep, challenging RPG, this is a game to play for sure. Even if you never played Persona, never played Shin Megami Tensei, don't get intimidated by the 5, the numeral. It's totally like a brand new entry with no, like, there's connections to the past games in the series, but obviously it's like a brand new thing with a new story and characters and stuff. Yes. And as like a bonus tip, I forgot to mention that I think before I beat that boss, I had, like, this tactic of I had a monster that was able to, I forgot what the move was called, but they were able to aggro, like, the boss. so they were only getting, the boss would only attack that one monster on my team. And that's a great way for me to be able to like focus on attacking the monster and also like heal that person that's getting damaged by a healer. So that way you don't have like the boss like attacking everyone in your party and like potentially killing the main character. Because, if the main character dies, the whole party dies and you get game over immediately. Which is something that doesn't happen in like every RPG.
Right.
So just having a monster that can use like an ability to take the pressure away from your main guy, it's totally helpful. I wish I could tell you what the move was called or what the monster I had was called, but I don't remember. But that was a really helpful strategy for me to take down that diet building boss.
Now, you mentioned Persona. I've never played Persona before. How does this game differ from it? And like, is it like, should I try Persona if I like this?
So I think you should try. Yeah, I think the main difference is that Persona is like half dungeon and the other half is this whole social simulation thing, which I'm not like a huge fan of. It doesn't bother me, but I do just prefer the action, like going to dungeons and fighting monsters and stuff. But Persona, it's a very slow game. So you spend most days like deciding on trivial things, like whether you want to go read a book on the train, or if you want to go wash your clothes, or if you want to go speak to this girl at this cafe, or if you want to go hang out with your best friend. It's like deciding what to do with your time and then growing those relationships, and then those relationships having an impact in how you in combat out in the dungeons. It just depends if you like that social simmy stuff and can be okay with doing the boring stuff to get into like the cool palace dungeon stuff, which is, I think it's totally worth it, because Persona 5 has like the boss fights in that game are just so emotional, and each dungeon has like a story. The reason why they're there is related to like one of the main characters of the cast. So it's a fantastic game, but they're just so different. They are very different games, Shin Megami and Persona.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And because Persona 4 is on PC. It's the gold. I think it's the golden version. I think a lot of people will enjoy it there. And the add-on with the dungeon thing that Grace was talking about. So every night you go into the dungeon. You sometimes get different dialogues from the characters and stuff. It's not a full dungeon that you can run in one sequence. You got to do it in a couple of days because there's different levels to it. So when you get to that certain level of reaching it, like you could save and leave and come back, and then when you feel like you're powerful enough, you can get further into the dungeon and then fight that boss. And like he mentioned, that boss will have something that has part of with the story and everything. And it's not so open worldish in the fact you could just like see a place, go to that destination, and then go in. Sometimes, like on the weekends, you may be hanging out with the crew or asked to go out and go eat a burger or go play this kind of mini game or go to the shop,
movie, anything.
Yeah. So you're building that up and to use in it. And then your personas, like I mentioned earlier, you end up kind of like fusing them together, and they'll have like different powers and everything. They use the same names for their magic. So what you see here in Shin Megami Tensei 5, you're going to see the same thing in Persona. Then it's just up to you to figure out which one is like what they're weak against. I think Persona is more easier than this one. Because even though it is grindy, it's a break from the grind. It's more linear than this one is, the Shin Megami.
Right.
And it has an equipment system also. So you can buy gear that's going to help you for it and everything.
Cool.
My overall experience, I think this is one of the not greatest games. I think it's a great game to have on your Nintendo Switch. I think, it was worth the wait for this game, the 4 years after its announcement. Truly, it's a game that you do have to invest some time in, but I think it's worth the $60 because it's going to take you a while to get through some stuff. The characters, they look good. The fusion thing is fun. The side quests are amazing. And when you get on a road, when you feel powerful, when sometimes the enemy think they're gonna come and sneak on you, but then they're running away, you know that you're over leveled, but you still gonna smack them in the back and fight them. It's really so good of a game. And it's a pure JRPG. There's no Western influence in this game. This is pure Japanese role playing game. So my only tip is it's just to be patient, die a lot, try different things, focus and everything. The cutscenes are beautiful, so they're easy to watch and grasp a hold of the story and everything. And I think people will get through it. I think it's good. It's something that you're not going to spend 2 or 3 weeks trying to get through. I really think that you're going to invest some time, and it's going to feel like you're putting 80 to 100 hours into this game, which is worth the time for it. So that's all I got to say. It'll probably be on some people's Game of the Year list nominations, but we'll get into that later on. Actually, we'll be talking about that next year, everybody, just to give you guys heads up. But we're gonna get into playing with power. So I'm gonna actually go first with playing with power because I normally go last. Everybody knows we've been playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. Been playing Streets of Rage 4. Played some Icon of Fail.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm
good.
really Yes, I'm really enjoying it. I'm still in the beginning. I just met her friend. She was crying in the bar in the end, and I just ended up getting her. So I'm going to be working with this game. But I definitely enjoying this. Learning the combat system, trying to get the timing and everything. And I was just like, but it's so random. At this point, I really don't care. But it is a nice 8-bit or 16-bit sprite-based game. I'm really enjoying it. Picked up Spiritfarer for Switch, and I love this. This game is beautiful. It's so good. I was just so impressed. Um, I did pick up Ruiner, but I haven't started yet. And Death's Door. My Cruising Blast came in, but I haven't started it yet. And playing a little bit more of Steam World Dig on Switch. And like I said, Axiom Verse 2, I'm getting further into that game. Going to be having a discussion with some of my friends later on. But pretty much that's what I have been playing for Switch. I know Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon comes out, but I'm going to wait for that game. But Grayson, what have you been playing with Power?
As far as like Nintendo stuff goes, I finished up Pokemon Shining Pearl probably like I was like last week. I kind of like stopped finally like and I put it down for good. I had such a great time with that game. I loved the original Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and this just felt like a great nostalgia trip to the past, and just running through that region again and fighting Cynthia and the Pokemon League and stuff. And the game actually has a lot of post game content too. So I spent like few hours like doing that stuff and catching some legendaries and whatever. Besides that, on Switch, I also bought Death's Door when it came out. I'm not that far. I think I beat. There's a point in the beginning of the game where you get told to go. You have to go to like 4 different areas, and I beat the boss of the first area. And that game is really hard. I'm like dying a lot, but I do like the combat. It's a lot of fun. I also finally, so I wasn't subscribed to the Nintendo Switch expansion pack thing when it first came out. I was just kind of like, I don't really want to I don't have time to play this right now. But I finally caved in, and I subscribed this weekend. So me and my boyfriend just played like some Mario Tennis and Mario Kart, and we played like 2 nights in a row. Actually, we've had like a lot of fun like playing Mario Tennis.
Mario Tennis is
it's just like it's so stupid. Like the character models to me are like just look ridiculous. Like they're so funny to me.
They're so funny.
So we laugh a lot while playing that. And then Mario Kart, we've been doing like just like the GP on 100cc, but these CPUs are kicking our ass. Like they're really hard. And we would bring it down to 50cc, and they would still like come close to like beating us. So yeah, I never realized how hard that Mario 64 was and back in the day. But yeah, having a lot of fun with that expansion pack. Played a little bit of Star Fox. Played a Sin and Punishment for the first time, which is a really
Yes.
interesting game. It's just kind of starts. I'm like, is this the game? and it is. But that I only played for like 10 minutes, so I didn't get far. But yeah, it's yeah, that's pretty much it for my Nintendo stuff.
All right. Dan, what have you been playing with Power?
So aside from Shin Megami Tensei, I've been playing Mario Golf with the new update. That's been really fun. And every month they have the new skins or whatever for the ranked matches, so I always end up doing that too. Played Tetris Effect Connected. That's been really good. Pretty close to the end of Picross S3. And I've completed 3 games this week. First one was Ocarina of Time. That's on N64 online. And, like I've said before, that game, it's an absolute masterpiece. Anybody who tells you it's overrated is wrong. It's just so good. I had so much fun replaying that game. And I downloaded this game called Dog. It was like $2 maybe. It's totally a $2 game. It's like 40 levels that last 20 seconds and you just jump on something's head. It's really, really stupid. I don't recommend it to anyone, but I think everyone should play it at the same time. And then lastly, I finished a game called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
Yes.
So this game only took about maybe 3 hours to beat, but it was really fun. The writing was just really funny in it, and the whole premise of the game is pretty ridiculous. And it's almost like a 2D Zelda-like, where you just kind of you have your sword and you go and explore dungeons and stuff. It's a really cute game. The writing's good. If you want to pay $20 for a 3-hour game, I totally recommend it. Otherwise, just wait till it's on sale.
Yes. Jacob, would you like to chime in and let us know what you're playing? Mm-hmm. Ah.
Is that the one on PlayStation Plus this month? Is that the game that's? Or am I making that up? Never mind.
Yes, no, it is.
Forget what I said. Okay.
Yeah, it is the one on PlayStation Plus this month, and yeah, there's no reason that the music in a Lego DC Supervillains game slaps, but it is so good. But yeah, other than that, it's just been that and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
All right. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for Nintendo Pow Block. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Grayson. Before we go, Grayson, where can we find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Grayson Morales, and then you can find my writing over at GameRant.com.
Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can see all of our articles on bossrush.net, where I'm a copy editor.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can check out Nintendo Pow Block on Wednesdays on YouTube at Boss Rush Games or Boss Rush Network. My Voice of Cards review is up, so you guys can check that out. And I wrote about a rumor that PlayStation might begin a Game Pass video game subscription service named Spartacus. Guys, go read it and check it out on bossrush.com. Keep messing it up. You can follow us on Twitter at Power Block Podcast. And everybody, just to give you heads up, or just to remind you, next episode is our last live recording. We're going to have the crew here, and we're going to be talking about some things.
Last live recording of the year.
Yes, of the year.
I was like, what's going on?
Yes, of 2021. And we're going to be kind of like talking about probably reflecting on Nintendo for 2021. When we come back in January 3rd, we be doing our Power Block Game of the Year. Which game would it be? Who knows? It could be Garden Story. It could be Monster Hunter Rise. It could be the dog game that Dan mentioned. And who knows what it can be? But we're gonna come back and we're gonna discuss our game of the year on January 3rd. But next week will be our live recording. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woo!